And hello there. How are we? Oh god, I've gotta recover my voice before I start, apparently. Fantastic. I'm just bringing up some resources that are really good for what we're going to be talking about this stream again. I don't know what happened to this particular link that I'm trying to bring up here. We are hello everyone, how are we going? We are in the info bus on Habbo Origins. My name is Luke Wolf Games, and actually my name, well that's my stream name, but my in-game name is Shadow Wolf. And I'll introduce you in just a moment. I'm just trying to get, introduce myself to you in just a moment. I'm just trying to get my my resources up here for what we're talking about. We are in the info bus, and we are talking again about Hobbas and Habbo in general, of course, but Hobbas particularly. And I wanted to show you guys again some resources around the old Habbo, and here you go. We've got it on the screen here. We've got hands-on hotel guides about the Hobbas. So I do have another page I want to bring up. So just a sec. I've got the Hobber application form. So we're going to be talking about the criteria for that. But general information about Hobbas, and we also have a frequently asked questions page. As well, but it seems to be a little broken. I'm just trying to fix it. A bit touchy, this web archive at this point, so trying to oh, I see what's happened. Okay, hang on a minute. Yeah, alright, so we should be able to navigate away from this onto another link. We're going to go into the frequently asked questions here, and hopefully it will show us the right time. We're using the time machine to bring up some of these websites, because these websites are not actually live anymore. They're not like run by Sulaki anymore. These are just old. But the good thing about Web Archive is that it snapshots websites from long past, and and you can still access them at web.archive.org, and it can be great to talk about this sort of stuff when you're talking about a feature that, or features of a classic game that no longer publish this information on current websites. Yeah, so I'm looking at the right page here with frequently asked questions about Hobbas and moderators of this time. So we're just going to move forward a little bit, because there's a particular. Here we go. This is what I wanted to see. Just the Hobba list. In the moderator list as well of this one. It's a little bit more organized than we had before, so excellent. This part here is a little weird. How do you become a Hobba? This should have actually it used to have, but they've got had a bit of a bug actually. This was back then, where they on the website where they just didn't format the stages properly, so they used to have stage 1 and 3 just a little bit more organized, but we can still read it, so it's all right. So, hi, my name is Shadow Wolf on Habbo Origins. My original Habbo name was Agent Spy. I later changed to Agisilaus. By the way, I'll put these in stream chat as well, so you guys can access these 3 pages of the web archive, as they can be a little difficult to navigate as well. So we're going to be talking about Hobbas. Just a bit about me, of course, for those that don't know about who I am, or if you've only heard of me. I have a long history of Habbo. I started in 2004, and back when Hobbas were actually around. And are we live? Yes, we are. We are definitely live, and we're in Habbo Origins. So, Habbo Hotel Origins, if we want the full name, but yes. So yeah, 2004. So I started out like everyone else did in terms of Habbo. We got us wanting to explore the hotel, but also wanting furniture. And back then, furniture was actually not really a thing. It was not to start off with anyway. I mean, it was a thing, but it wasn't. You couldn't really start off with it. You had to earn it or find a way to buy credits. And as a kid, you couldn't really always buy credits, especially when you weren't allowed to, or you had to get your parents' permission. And you didn't have a job you didn't have control over your own money, obviously, at that age. So yeah, so a lot of us went without, but we still enjoyed exploring the hotel as well. Yeah, so I got in. Obviously did all the noobish things, and some things sometimes not so noobish. But anyway, it was only a few months until I got into the help centers. I worked for Think Help, and after a few months, I moved over to another award-winning help center. Think Help was actually owned by Impetuous, the staff member, but it was mostly run by Cheesy, a Habbo called Cheesy, actually, which was interesting. But anyway, I moved over to Habbo Help, off to another notable help center owned by Mystique. Mystique wasn't staff or anything like that at the time, but she was very well known in the community for assisting other Habbos. So that was really good. So she had a very well structured help center in terms of the management of that. So I was there for a few years, and then I moved over to fan sites in 2007. So I actually spent about 7 years on and off fan sites a little bit. Actually, usually around Habbo Heart. I ended up becoming the general manager of Habbo Heart. And at one stage, I was a forum super moderator for Habbox Forum. And then I moved over back to Habbo Heart at one stage, back into the management side of things over there. If anyone remembers Habbo Heart, unfortunately it's not around anymore. It is a fan site that someone just pressed the big delete button. So after about 15 years, so we don't have a lot of. We've only got memories of that, unfortunately. So that's really disappointing. But anyway. In 2014, Habbo introduced the Ambassador program, where I was the part of the initial selection of that, and I was the Master Ambassador for the Australian New Zealand region, and I was that for the entirety of the 6 to 7 years of that time. So I kind of left around about 2020, so a little bit after that. So yeah, about 6 to 7 years, yeah. I'm now into game development, so I run my own game development community called Luke Wolf Games, and I'm making 3 games at the moment, yeah, I'm stream on Twitch, all of that, so I've moved over to Twitch. So we're a bit confused in the info bus at the moment because people don't know what I'm doing. So I'm streaming I'm just going to let some people know that may not be hearing this. So yeah, we've got some awesome stuff. I mean, the community of Habbo Origins, I'm very surprised. I mean, Sulaki surprised us with this this Habbo Origins project. It's only been out for about a week or so now, a little over a week. Hello, Goob. I'll give a shout out to everyone in the info bus very soon, but just I want to say, yeah, we've been a bit surprised by the action of Sulaki, which is a good move, by the way. It's a really good one. They've introduced an old Habbo classic called a 2005 version of Habbo Hotel, which in my opinion was certainly one of the best times that we had. It seems like it was towards the end of 2005 where things got kind of shitty, unfortunately. But for us, unfortunately, like it was towards the end of when Hobbas were actually going to be around, because they announced in late 2005 that Hobbas would no longer be a thing. So that had a huge impact on the community. We'll talk about all that sort of stuff as well. But I want to give a shout out to everyone in the info bus here. And in case you don't know where we are and how to get access to any of this. If you do log into Habbo Origins, by the way, it's origins.habbo.com up here. So origins.habbo.com. You have to be 18 plus to join this once you're inside, you need to just... Oh, by the way, you don't log in through... You don't register through the website. You just press the check-in button and you register through there, and then you'll be able to have an account to log into the website. So it is a little bit different to modern Habbo at the moment, but that's okay. So once you're inside, you can actually go to the outside spaces in the public rooms, and then go to the info bus park, where we're actually inside the info bus. Obviously, this is what we're looking at. There's a big long queue. You do have to start at the first arrow and then end up at the end. You don't necessarily have to wait agonizingly for your Habbo to gradually get to the end of the bus. You just keep pressing the next arrow. Just keep pressing the next arrow all the time so you can get in. It's very important because otherwise you might die from impatience, unfortunately, especially if you don't get in here. Good thing is that staff have actually increased the room limit of this of the info bus. Normally, well, naturally the info bus actually has a maximum of 10 Habbos, excluding staff, because staff are not counted as taking up room in terms of the room total. And we used to, typically speaking, the info bus was used to for a staff member to sit in the seat I'm currently sitting in, and then just have all the everyone else sort of sitting down at the seat, and that just run like little safety trivias and things like that, and teach Habbos about safety, which was an awesome idea, by the way. It's absolutely awesome. So we all are loving that. But yeah, just to give a shout out to everyone, we've got 00, we've got And in the room, Ardle, welcome Ardle, Goob, Kip, Kane. Oh, Kane, hang on, where's Kane? Oh no, did Kane leave us? No, it's alright, someone entered the bus. The list changed. So Kane, hello Kane. Here we have Marcy, Matt, Pat. I suppose you could say Pat, actually. So yeah, of course he's got Pat in his motto. That's a very creative way of putting his name. So well done there. Peace, Rue, me, me, and Sofa, and Thriving. So welcome guys. So I might just quickly type in chat. So basically, yeah. So I'm in here just talking about these things. So we've got obviously we do have some we've got a shout out there, so I will try to read, by the way, the chat in the room, but there's a lot of chat in the room, so I may not have a chance to read everything and also say what I want to say as well, so just bear with me. A shout out to Fendino, so welcome again, and we've got, obviously, while I was, I think Fendino, yeah, walked in while I was giving a shout out to everyone, so welcome to the bus. I don't think I'm missing anyone else, so welcome. We have some awesome stuff. So basically, just to give you some guys, I've got a few resources up on stream about what a Hobba is, or was actually. I'll try to talk in past tense here, but just because they talk in present tense on these websites, so it may seem like they're talking about now. But this was actually back in 2004, 2005 for these resources. So we have 3 main resources here, and I'll try and keep the hotel up as well while we're talking. So we've got, we have, I'm gonna close this as well. It's very distracting, the time machine, console. So we've got, hotel moderators. So, basically, one thing that Habbo did very well was their moderation, I think back then. They had a large team of volunteer moderators called Hobbas as well, and they backed up. They actually also moderated with they had professionally trained staff. Sorry, as well as that. So they took moderation very seriously, and the reason for this is because they had users that were 11 years, as young as 11, really, as far as back then was concerned. You were legally allowed to create a Habbo if you were 11 years old. And sometimes they even said they're even younger online, because younger did end up coming on. So they did have some pretty strict moderation back then, and it was mainly because of that. So a lot of their users were children, but there was a lot of adults as well, because everyone was welcome. It wasn't just strictly kids, even though kids were mainly teens, like teens and people and kids just before becoming a teen really was the focus on their target marketing, which at the time worked very well. This snapshot to 2,761 people, but this was when the hotel was basically quiet. That was the amount of people in the hotel was basically quiet. In actual fact, the UK hotel got up to 10, 15, sometimes even 20,000 Habbos online. It was absolutely huge. It was just there was just so many. There were I was surprised back then that they had servers that were that strong to hold. In fact, the hotel got very full to the point where that you couldn't actually log in because it was so full. It was you had to be unless you were HC or something, like they'd put you into the queue. So the thing is about checking in with the old Habbo is that that's what you did. You checked in, right? So you logged in through the client, and during that process, as well as authentication, it would effectively log you in, but it will also go through a process during that where it would check if the hotel was full, and if it wasn't full, it would put you into a queue, right? So after it authenticated you, it did this check, and then that would put you into the queue to enter the hotel. So that become less of a thing, by the way, as time went on. We had, I think mostly we were able to get into the hotel, at least for me. I wasn't HC for at least 3 months when I started, so it seemed like it was mostly, they did upgrade quite a lot. Obviously, the idea was to make sure people could get online, otherwise it would be, what's the point? So yeah, but it was an interesting kind of feature as well. So anyway, Hobbas were all, well, there was a bit of a mix of, originally Hobbas were not, they didn't have an age limit for Hobbas. They actually allowed anyone to become a Hobba in the early time of, I think it was around 2001, 2002. And they ended up having an age limit later on, so like 16 plus, and then they raised it to 18 plus, and they sort of tweaked the program a little bit like that. So eventually, a majority of Hobbas were adults, although there were still some kids that were still good Hobbas. Fernando says, do you think Habbo will slowly add the old furniture to the catalog? Absolutely. We're going to be seeing that. They do have this currently on their fixes and issues. I think they last posted it here. We have furniture. So, number of issues with furniture. Do we have? I think it was mentioned somewhere down the bottom in known issues. So, there were catalog players are unable to purchase some items from the catalog. So they do know this is an issue at the moment. They're going to fix that eventually. So yes, they will be returning some furniture, because personally I really want them to reintroduce the lodge gate. That'd be very nice, because there are some, I've got everything set up for that. But yeah, some issues are actually broken at the moment. I'm sorry if I do miss your chat in the room, by the way. If you do have a question or something like that, and I do appear to be missing it because I'm just rattling on, just please come into the stream and type your question in chat. I have put 3 links in chat, so if you don't see those 3 links, just let me know. They should be in the history of your chat for Twitch. If you want me to post them again, I will. So just let me know. So just in terms of this, so yeah, about Hobbas, we had I won't necessarily go reading this necessarily, but just to give you an idea, it just talks about how Habbo was moderated 24 hours a day. By professional moderators, backed up by a team of, at the time, 180 moderators. That went to a total of a little over 200 at one stage. But yeah, it's pretty close to the 200 mark, right? So we've got about 200 Hobbas assisting staff with this. So yeah, as well as Hobbas being 18, you also had to, if we'll go to the application form here for a second, I'll give you a bit of an idea of the initial criteria. We had you have to have an account that was at least 12 weeks old, and that you've also been visiting the hotel 200 times. as well as being a well-behaved Habbo, right? So you couldn't just become a Hobber when you're badly behaved, right? I mean, that just makes sense. It's just like hiring moderators anywhere. I mean, we're talking about, Habbo is not the only place that's got moderators. There are heaps of places online. You've got forums that have moderators, other games that have moderators, or game masters that assist with moderation in their game. You have Twitch. We have moderators here. You may not see any at the moment in my channel, because a lot of them are, I do have some, yeah, they're just offline. They're mostly, this is pretty early hours for me because I'm in Australia, so I beg your pardon for everyone over the other side of the world. But I do have moderators. Otherwise, I just moderate my channel, and I don't usually have an issue with that because it's, I've got a pretty calming community here. So, yeah, we do have moderators. So moderation's very important for a lot of communities online, and it's to reduce the toxicity and just to maintain, user retention and a quality environment. Now, a lot of that is really how that's actually achieved for the community is actually different for every community, right? And depending on the demographics of that community. So Habbo's obviously got a long history, yeah, so it is going to be a bit different to moderating Habbo, like obviously for modern Habbo compared to Origins, right? At least at the moment, because we're all 18 plus here, whereas modern Habbo, even though a lot of adults are on there as well, we still have a target market of 13 plus. So they have to account for the youngest age in terms of moderation. So that's why, like, you get people that sort of like, I'm 25 and I'm being moderated. I'm being moderated for saying certain things. Yeah, well, they've got to account for 13-year-olds on Habbo, so you've got to make sure that you're behaving in accordance with those standards. In any case, regardless that we're 18 plus, some people are going sort of like, oh, we shouldn't have a problem with moderation because we're all 18 or we're all 25 or something like that. I don't think everyone's 25 here. I think we'll have at least some people that are 18, but a bit closer to the 18 age. Not exactly true. I mean, we do have to make sure that we're more discretion based in terms of moderation, like just making sure that we're taking context into account more than just the fact that you said a word. It's more, it should be more behavior focused, right? That's what moderation should be about. Particularly for my community, it is certainly that. I mean, we assess your intention, what's your behavior that you're projecting out there. That's what it should be for. It should be like for Habbo as well. And because of that, we should also, because there's adults here that do speak disrespectfully. Unfortunately, in fact, a lot of the time in society, I think adults are the worst behaved. To be honest, I mean, you have kids that misbehave, right? That's fine, but I mean, you have there are adults that don't behave themselves. At all. If you really think about it, you see people get arrested, and they do some pretty serious crimes, right? They're not all kids. Majority of them are adults, or are older. So like, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous. So we do have to have someone in the hotel that assists with making sure that we're keeping the peace. We just have to make sure that's being done correctly, right? We don't want it. Obviously, we don't want someone said one word and, all of a sudden they're getting a 2-hour ban or something like that. That was something that they did with Habbo of old because, they had to account around 11-year-olds, right? So they had different standards back then. So we do want to make sure that Habbo's still peaceful and that people are actually enjoying themselves. And when we have someone coming in with a behaviour that's obviously unacceptable, then that should be dealt with as well, appropriately. And the idea of Hobbas is to make sure that's actually done acceptable as well. So, yeah, we have some pretty serious criteria here. You had to be an adult. You have to have an account that was old enough. You had to be well behaved. So people that are misbehave don't become Hobbas, right? So if Habbo think that you're not going to be Hobber material, you're probably not going to be a Hobber. So you can expect them to actually take this very seriously. Habbo have been a little paranoid, and forgive me, staff, if you're watching, obviously, that that you know, it's a little. I understand why they're a bit paranoid about bringing back Hobbas. They've been very careful about that as a company, because of the past in terms of like security and things like that. I still think, particularly with today's standards, that Hobbas can still exist. Given some access, but acceptable access, like reversible access, the access that's not going to be detrimental necessarily, but also there's ways of also going about hiring Hobbas. There's a big concern about that, and I want to go through that as well. So part of the application process, there's actually a full stage. There's 4 stages to becoming a Hobber. This application process is one of them. So welcome Rybo to the info bus. I'll just say it in the room just in case he misses it on stream. Yeah, we've got Sofa saying that he loves gamers, Infobus gamers, so a shout out to him for being very passionate about gaming. I love it. We've got Maxi that just walked into the Infobus. We've got Green V. Is that a 1? Sorry, I can't really see that. It must be an L. Green VL as well. And I do like to accept pretty much everyone's freedom request, by the way, so feel free to keep in contact. Airborne also walked in earlier, so I don't see anyone else that's new here except for Hugh Sittos 7. Welcome. Awesome. So yeah, we've got yeah, this was one major thing. So obviously you had to put some details in there. There was a second page of this a Hobber application form, which unfortunately I can't show because there's no functionality with this. This did require some functionality on website to show you that, and you had to it would actually check a number of things with your Habbo, effectively, were you matching this initial criteria, and then it would show you another page where you would fill out more information. Like back then you had to put in your address because they'd be sending you documents that you had to sign eventually, and you would you'd be going through that process. And you'd also get the opportunity to explain to yourself, to the head Hobber, why you wanted to become a Hobber, so you could, just prove yourself there as well. And if your application was impressive, you would be, moved on to the next stage. The next stage of becoming a Hobber, which was, let's have a look, Stage 2. Stage 2, here it is. A little awkward, sorry, because I haven't got this listed properly with the current format. So basically with Stage 2, you would, your reputation in the hotel would be checked, so they wanted to make sure you were friendly, so they'd probably look at your chat logs. If you've had any, anything about you, they'd be looking at that. They wanted to make sure that you were free from, prejudice, so you weren't, you were impartial. You had to be impartial to become a Hobber. That's very important. Moderators have to be impartial. Any kind of moderators at all, anywhere, have to be impartial, right? And that is a difficult thing to do sometimes, but it is a good idea to be as impartial as possible, and be fair with everybody else. So you're not favouring someone else over someone. You are just you're doing things as impartial as possible. And they also want to know if you knew the hotel inside out, because Hobbers, as well as being, having moderator role, they also had a guide role as well. So moderators in general should also know the community inside out. That's just a natural. But particularly for Hobbers, they had to guide Habbos around. So they weren't just dealing with behaviour and things like that, or moderating the hotel. They were guiding people around and engaging with users and things like that. They had to know Habbo inside out. So for that reason, so obviously. We had that. We also had Stage 3. Stage 3 was a big one, actually. So if you passed that, you went to Stage 3. And Stage 3 was where you actually got interviewed. Okay, you got interviewed to become a Hobber. So they would ask you a series of questions. They carry out role-play exercises, and that's how they determined if you were Hobber material. If you were pretty good at that, they ended up you went to Stage 4, which basically meant that they sent you the Hobber offer letter, which outlined certain terms and conditions. It was basically a contract to say that you agreed to, make sure you don't share certain things with the community, and that you, based on that, you also. Any tools that you were given, you were basically going to use them in good spirits. and with the terms and conditions of Habbo in your position and things like that. So it's very you've got to make sure that you are actually be on the poach there. So that was basically it. So once you actually return that, we had to sign and return it by post back then instead of probably email these days. But once if they do decide to do this again, I should say, they'll give you a Hobba badge once it arrives. So having said that, that's basically the whole process of becoming a Hobba. You didn't get a gold badge straight away either. You actually ended up getting a silver badge, and you were paired with a Hobba Guardian, a Super Hobba Guardian, to be trained in how to become a Hobba. So you would receive training at that point, and then after training you would be tested on your skills before you actually became a gold Hobba, and you were able to be on your own basically for the role. So they did take being a Hobba very seriously for this one. Now this is strictly the UK hotel, and this was very similar to a lot of English speaking hotels, by the way. .com was rather different, I've got to add. So for anyone, I think they were hiring Hobbas at one stage, but then they did something kind of a bit weird, where they made 90% of the hotel a Hobba by having very low criteria and automated selection system on the website, and then yeah, it ended up being like 90% of the hotel community become a silver Hobba and was free to use alerting. You had more silver Hobbas than you did HC members back then on that during that time. So it was particularly unfortunate that they did that, because it was like, I don't know what they were trying to prove there or test out, but it was just yeah, it was just obvious. I think it was just that they should have discovered that lack of process meant that we got bad results. It's basically all that was about. So yeah, the 4 roles of being a Hobba. These were the 4 key roles that Hobbas actually had. We had Hobbas could discipline. They had discipline, emergency assistance, reporting, and hosting. The disciplines where they could use special Hobba commands to warn, kick, or ban Habbos that were misbehaving. Emergency assistance was just picking up the call for help and assisting anyone through the call for help system. Because in the hotel back then, you could actually click on the blue question mark, click on Get Live Help here, and if instead of actually bringing up this, it would actually just it would bring up something more like the call for help, where you actually typed your situation. You didn't have all this select a user, what's the reason, and then type your problem. They just had a box. You explain what the problem was, because sometimes your problem was not necessarily about someone else, or it might have just been a question or something like that you had about the Habbo. And you could actually use that, even though they did actually say this was for emergencies. Quite often people would use it to ask questions or to talk to a Hobba or things like that. And sometimes a Hobba would be lenient and come and see you, and that would be cool. So it was really good. It was very welcoming environment because of that, right? So I am hoping that Habbo does bring back something in regards to being able to contact a Hobba to come and see you if you needed a Hobba. That would be really good, and just actually question over the call for help. So, but in any case, if they do obviously bring it back. So, so we do need something like that. If we're going to have a system like this, we do need live moderation in Habbo, and we do need that sort of help, that live help in Habbo. It's very important. I think Habbo's gone downhill because of that, because of having their live moderation system. Well, not live. It's not live anymore. It's just it's all like send a customer support a ticket. Hear back from them in a few days. It's not live, and quality moderation must be live, right? User engagement, that's very important. It's very important for any game, or any community. If you're running a community, right, you need live moderation. You need to be able to engage with the users, and this is what Hobbas did back then. Reporting and hosting. So reporting is where Hobbas report to staff about things, usually to the online moderator. Certain things they weren't able to deal with, like Habbo names, missions, room names, descriptions, all that sort of stuff. So things they couldn't just change. They would report to a moderator, and moderator would effectively, because Habbo would always have an online moderator on that time, right? So the online moderator would assist by picking up those requests and dealing with those as like a fallback support position for Hobbas. So that was pretty good. And hosting would was where Hobbas, the other part of Hobbas' role, of course, was to show Habbos around the hotel, kind of like what ambassadors do now, or should be doing now. Like Habbo guides, basically, they would be fulfilling that role as an official capacity and answering their questions and guiding them. So quite often, what you would see with that is back then, is the Hobbas would be players, and they would be chilling out in rooms, whichever room they choose, and they would be answering questions, chatting to Habbos, all that sort of stuff. That's user engagement from a moderation perspective, and that's really important. To have someone in like a recognized position to be engaging with the community really helps grow the community, because it improves the experience of the user. So that is an absolute must. Would you apply for a position if it appeared within Origins? Absolutely. I mean, I've got a long history of Habbo there as well too, as you know. So yeah, absolutely, I'd be interested in doing that. But I want to be able to make sure that the program is being run to a correct standard, right? I don't want to, and I'll help encourage that as best I can if it was to come to that. But it's very important that we have a fair system, which people can, as fair as possible, right? They want to be as fair as possible. I don't expect this to be like a perfect system or anything, right? Nothing's going to be perfect, but it is going to come down to how Sulaki run this, and whoever's in charge runs it. So it really does come down to that. And one of the biggest issues I think with Habbo today is that Sulaki staff and just the management behind the game, so like Sulaki, right? They have taken like a back step in terms of behind the scenes sort of thing, and you can't do that when you're running a community. You've got to have frontline staff that are engaging with the community, whether that's developing Habbo, posting articles like we've been seeing recently, which is really good, by the way. This is awesome. Having articles like this where they're constantly informing the community, they're being in the hotel, they're being seen, they're talking to their people. That's what's going to keep your community. Without your community, you don't have anything, and especially Habbo, in particular, that thrives on community growth. That's absolutely critical. So we need to have staff in game as well as working on whatever they're doing, because people are going to feel a lot better when they're being recognized. They're able to talk to staff here and there. So yeah, so I'm just going to let some people know in the room here in case they're not listening. So yeah, so I wanted to make that a very clear point. So it's, yeah, Habbo is like the thing that's really cool with this is absolute community. The community's done a really good job on its own, by the way, in terms of keeping together and growing together. That's really awesome. That's very unique to Habbo, I think. In a lot of ways, we don't see communities that are also find growth with each other. But I just think also that staff should ensure that we have community engagement on an official capacity, whether that's themselves or that they hire. It's good if they do have volunteers that assist with that, but they have to do this themselves as well. They have to be engaged. Too much effort to click him. Oh my god, it's just I'm just gonna say that to him. I don't think he's. Oh dear. Fair enough. It depends. Obviously, I'll leave it to the people. Okay. But yeah, you're saying in chat there, Tui, that you're loving the community posts and Twitter engagement so far. They need to keep that going. Absolutely. They've got to keep that going. They've got to also keep their in-hotel activity going. They've got to keep that going. You know, I think Habbo's really struggled with user engagement ever since 2006 when they stopped having Hobbas. By the way, they stopped having Hobbas back then, so they really struggled. And over time, as we know with what's happened with Habbo, a lot of us know what's happened with Habbo on this hotel here because we've been there. You know, what happened with you know, back in 2012 when they had the Great Mute, you know, things like that. That really is a result of not having Hobbas, to be honest, and not having good moderation quality. Because it wasn't just one decision with Hobbas. It wasn't, you know, Hobbas weren't the be all and end all of it, but there were just one decision after another. There was no Hobbas, no moderation. Their moderation standards went down the tubes. It was very embarrassing actually because they had a lot of good quality moderation. They were leading in terms of moderation on the internet, and then all of a sudden they just changed their, you know, perspectives, and you know, all of a sudden they just thought, oh, you know, we don't need to do this anymore. But in actual fact, they did. Green VL Habbo, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great evening. I'm Green VL in the room. Yes, welcome. I gave you a shout out earlier in the stream, so welcome as well. Very fantastic. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Excellent stuff. So awesome. So what is your opinion on rare releases on each Tuesday? Do you think this is too fast or not at all, actually? They used to do weekly rares on Habbo back then, so I think that's actually, it's good that they've reintroduced that, and they you know, it provides a sense of like you know, I think they do get a lot of I think they got a lot of sales with that. As well back then, like it created a bit of you know, a bit of like, you know, limited time offer sort of thing. I think that's great. You know, it helped us back then in terms of users. I don't think people had much complaint about that, but they also you know, it might be nice to have a monthly rare as well. Who knows? I don't know if they could do, you know, one than the other, but or if that's even a good idea. But yeah, I do think I think it's good. You know, a week is a long time in Habbo. You know, Habbo, even a month. Like a month is a long time in Habbo. Like it's, you know, a month is like a year as far as Habbo time's concerned. So it has slowed down obviously a bit as Habbo's gotten older as a whole. But you know, Habbo time is different to RL, so we do have to respect their limited time offers, and it keeps the community going as well. I think we're gonna buying one Dice Master. Okay, if anyone's looking for one Dice Master, Carl's buying a Dice Master. So super rare. I don't know what that says. Sorry, something about a casino. I just want to point out as well, some people have mentioned this as well. Casino rooms themselves are not against terms and conditions. However, it's what happens in them that's against the terms and conditions. Okay, so they don't want gambling in the hotel. That is technically against the terms and conditions. Although recently we have observed that Habbo have not. They have not been very. They've been very lenient with this. Okay, and it is because I think of the 18+ part of this. We don't have kids in the hotel, okay? So we're not exposing them to gambling. That's a huge thing, right? That's why we aren't doing... that's why they're more strict on that on actual Habbo than they are with this one. But I do think that Habbo should regulate that as best they can. I reckon they should take steps to make that a thing for adults in the game. I don't think they should have a blanket rule against it. And of course that's going to mean certain legalities. They might need a liquor license. They might, not a liquor license, sorry, a gambling license, I beg your pardon. Liquor and gambling is what I'm trying to say there. Liquor and gambling, it's liquor and gambling here in Australia, so that's the license you have. The department for that. So, yeah, they should get a license for that, and then they should go, okay, well, what are the conditions of that, and what can they do to enforce this as a thing in the hotel. And I think that, you know, if they have these rooms that are available, but you've got to be 18+. You have to be 18+. It's an absolute must. And they would regulate that. And then of course you do have the issue of you know, people lying about their age. So they might have to be a lot more strict in terms of proof of ID. So they might need to, have some kind of system there. I don't know how well they can do that in terms of an automated system, but this is why they need staff, right? They've got to be able to process this sort of stuff. I think we've gone a bit too. Yes, it's 2005 again, Rama. Shout out to Rama in the chat in the room. It is almost 2005. We've got some things that are not nostalgic just yet, particularly with the moderation side of things. It's still very modern Habbo, which I don't like. I think we should go to also to a more nostalgic moderation system, but that may not happen based on what staff are saying. But I'll certainly be pushing for a lot of that. In my opinion, as long as it's only to items within the game and not being cashed out externally, it should be tolerated. That is, I understand where you're coming from there. I think that because there is actually a gambling problem in society, right? There is certainly an issue with this, and we do have, and we don't want to expose children to that. Unfortunately, because Habbo does deal in, obviously furniture and credits. Furniture mainly. It doesn't matter what the item is if it's got some kind of value in the community, and it's seen as some kind of currency, which a lot of the time with Habbo 2005 it would be, because the furniture replaces credit value in terms of that, because you can't exchange credits with this. We're seeing furniture becomes a currency to a certain extent, certain furniture items, right? So because of that value, and even on modern Habbo, they still have this as a value. Then it still has that gambling culture, right? So it still it enables those behaviors, that mentality, that basically the whole thing. So we still can't sort of have a blanket rule like that where we do allow it based on just that. It certainly is a bridge that is more serious. Obviously, we don't want people actually just dishing out cash and stuff, but they do it through an indirect way, and still that has the same impact. So they do have to be very careful about that sort of stuff, right? I do get it. It does suck a bit because once upon a time it wasn't restricted, and for a long time it wasn't, and it become a real thing in Habbo. In fact, it become part of the core community. There was at least an average a day, 4,000 Habbos online that would be involved in this. And because it got so big, and then Habbo just shut it down with terms and conditions and enforcement, they lost a huge part of their community because of that. And they didn't really regulate it properly. They didn't go, okay, well, what can we do to try to keep people happy or anything like that. It was just like, okay, this is a real bane. It is disappointing. What kind of dog do you have in the background? This is a German Shepherd, and I also have a Kelpie just behind me here. You can't really see the Kelpie because he's right behind me, so on the bed. So that's a German Shepherd. He's my wolf. So fantastic. He is actually a Swiss Shepherd, by the way. He does, which is also a German Shepherd, but he's part Swiss. So part Swiss, part German. You may not see it in him, but he does have it in him. They're not as big as German Shepherds. He's a bit small for a German Shepherd, actually. But he's very unique, so it's cool. What's with the spooky music? This music is actually from a game called Heartbound, which is a game by Pirate Software. It's one of the most iconic indie development games in the world. Okay, so the OST has over 100 songs, so we're seeing that we're basically hearing that. So you're hearing different aspects of the game is what you're doing. Oh no, that's okay. That's fine. And I don't expect Habbo community to fully understand the aspects of different things that are out there necessarily. So it's all right. I don't think a lot of Habbos understand game development community exactly. What's my Habbo story? When did you start? I started in 2004. Sorry, I was going to say 2005. We're talking about 2005. 2004. 13th of August 2004 is when I started Habbo. Actually, I actually was at school, and it was a Wednesday. I remember it was a Wednesday, right? Okay, Wednesday. I'm in my art class, and I've got I had a couple of mates in my class. I went to school with. I still know today, actually. They said, "Luke, you should come on Habbo." Like, and I'm like, "What's Habbo? You know, what the hell?" I was a bit of a gamer back then, right? So we were kind of into the computer gaming, and we didn't really do anything much online. By the way, we used online for like cheats and schoolwork in terms of like research and stuff. But we didn't really use the internet for any kind of recreational activity necessarily, like games and things like that. Very much back then. There were some arcade websites, but I rarely went on them. I mainly played like PC single player PC games, or we played multiplayer on the Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 2 back then. So yeah, it was I rarely played multiplayer games on the PC online, so it wasn't really a thing. So these two friends of mine, they said you should come on Habbo, and they sort of hassled me for a couple of days about it. And it was a Friday when they came over to my place, and they sort of introduced me to the game. And it was very fascinating. I found the whole concept of like going online as a character, walking around in a place, totally anonymous because of your name, right? My name was Agent Spy back then. No one knew who you really were, and you were talking to people in the hotel through a chat system. That was fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. I mean, you had MSN and stuff, which I discovered later, by the way. I didn't discover it when I back then. So it was absolutely fascinating. And to a certain extent, I still find the whole concept fascinating. It's just unfortunately the internet's developed to like it's a mainstream thing now. Everyone's talking to each other on the internet. But yeah, back then it was absolutely unique. You didn't have anything like Habbo, honestly. I really don't think you had anything like Habbo. I think RuneScape maybe come close to Habbo at the time, but I don't know if they, it wasn't really a well-known thing. A lot of humans were sort of like, not really into it. So they sort of, when they saw something like this, I was sort of fascinated by it, I think. The nostalgia, yeah. So we had MSN too. We got into a lot of trouble on Habbo for mentioning MSN, by the way, so we weren't allowed to do that, and the reason for that was because MSN was not moderated, and it was very unsafe, particularly for like 11-year-olds. Anyone that's not an adult, so there was a real issue with that, but with anything to do with Habbo and anything else was a problem. So yeah, I started in 2004, and I just found the whole thing fascinating. It was great. I was walking around. People in rooms. They were like getting jobs, and it was really good, right? In 2005, after a few months, right, actually, it was towards the end of 2004, I got a job close to Christmas, actually, in a Habbo help center, because I was like, at that time, I was kind of like, I want to help the Habbo community. And one thing I actually did, this going back in time a little bit further, actually, I've got, apart from Christmas, it was a week in or a few days, I can't remember, it was like 3 days or something, I think it was 3 days. I went to a help center in Habbo, because I was just exploring the place, right? And I'll just bring this up for a sec. So just bear with me. I'm just going to find something that is going to... Okay. I don't know if I can actually find it. Let me just bring it. I might have to... Bear with me for 1 second. I just have to stop sharing my screen. Okay. I need to find this thing. Okay, I can be back now. I just need to find it now that I'm on the right page. Bear with me. I saw this thing in Habbo, and I don't have a screenshot of it, right? But I do have a reference to it. So I'm just gonna bring it up. I do have a lot of screenshots, by the way. We can probably talk about that if you want. I've got a lot of screenshots of old. Screenshots, whether they're my own or someone else's, effectively. So, documents. Oh no, I had it in images, didn't I? Let's go back to images. So, this is what was fascinating for me. I'll just, in here. Okay, I did, yep, it was, God, I've got so many images of Habbo, it's incredible. Okay. Let's see if I can find the right image here. Bear with me. I saw this in the hotel when I was exploring it. I thought it was fascinating. I just need to find which one it was. There's so many things here, man. I have nothing organised. Everything's sort of just all in one folder. I might have to open up one of these images here. Ah, here we go. Okay. Oh, I don't know which one here. So many of them. In alphabetical order. Oh, this is handy. Let me see if we can find it. Q. Eventually, we'll go. And then... Oh, I might not be in here. Damn it! Oh, wait. No. He is, but he doesn't have the right thing. I saw something in Habbo and I thought it was interesting. At the time, yeah, he's not there. Damn it. Okay, that's alright. Maybe it's in here. Is that the same one? Do I have like two folders of the same thing? Just a moment. In here then? No, not in there. Righto. That's okay. What if I just searched in the general folder? Maybe it will tell me. But yeah, what I saw was a picture of a particular hobber, and I didn't know it was a hobber at the time, so it was like, what the hell? No one was wearing this particular badge, so I don't think I've actually got a picture of him, which is really annoying actually. I do have... Oh, I've got screenshots of the many different hobbers. Yeah, they're silver hobbers, by the way. The ones with the silver badges are hobbers. Keeps coming up on my main monitor, it's annoying. Because otherwise I'm going to confuse everybody. Okay. Oh, here we go. I have... Yeah, okay. There's a hobber list. I'll go through. I'll find the right hobber. Okay. I saw this hobber. All right. So I saw the character with the gold star, and I was like, "What the hell's that?" Right. I'm 3 days old in Habbo. I don't know what anything is. So I said to I think this is in alphabetical order. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. Although it's a different time. Let me try, oh no, it's... Yeah, okay, I just don't... I have it somewhere. It's just a little out of date, but I had this guy. This one hobber. Right? I had this one hobber on the screen. I'm just going to take a screenshot of him. I can bring him up. So this is him. Okay. Quincy. It was actually, oh my god, I hate it when IMGR does this. Yeah, so this is him here, right? This is Quincy. Oh, we're in the ads, sorry. Is it loud? Sorry, hang on a minute. I might turn it down a little bit. This song might be particularly a bit loud, hang on. Oh, well, I don't have volume, standard volume control. Let me just... Oh, sorry, yes, let's turn this down. I beg your pardon, guys. Thanks for telling me that my music was loud. Thank you. It was actually really quite loud. I hope that's better. For some reason, it was just blaring on iTunes. We're just gonna wait for the community a little bit. We've got 2 minutes of ads. So I'm just going to... We'll come back. And we'll sort this out. So... Alrighty, so we'll wait for the community on this one, and it should be good. Meantime, I might actually try and find the original image. Was it in here? Must have been in here. What's going on? Why am I getting that green? Why is it green? Okay, that's weird. Screenshot. Why is it green? I did have this, by the way. I did actually have a picture of him. One sec. Huh. Yeah, I have many different Hobbo lists. Welcome back, guys. We're back with the community now. Fantastic. So, alright. Sorry, I'm still trying to find this image. I think I've got it. I think it's in here somewhere. I think I've got him. I've got him. He looked exactly like this. I do have a picture of him. He was a Hobba. And yeah, I just didn't know what the star meant. Or was it? So, of course, I'm 3 days old, right? So I don't really know anything about. Why is that going green? That's so weird. That's so weird. Is something wrong with this image? It appears and then disappears. What the heck? That's annoying. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, that's just totally bonkers. I don't know why it's green like that. I did move stuff from an old computer, by the way, so bear with me. Okay, I don't have him at the moment, but I do have him somewhere. I definitely have him somewhere. So I'll come back to that. But yeah. Anyway, I did have him. So I've got this guy here, right, with this badge. And I'm like, what the hell's that? What's the sheriff dude? Who's the sheriff of Habbo? And they explained what it was, obviously, him being a Hobba and whatnot. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't really have anything to do with them at the time. I was just exploring on my own. So yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was pretty cool. And he was running a help center, by the way, Quincy. He was running a help center called World Police Department, WPD. Yeah. So we had that, and I was like, yeah, pretty cool. So after a few months of being on Habbo, I actually got involved in the helping department of Habbo and went to Think Help. So I was involved with help centers for quite a number of years. I went to Think Help and moved over to Habbo Help. Iconic award-winning help centers there. I managed them eventually. I become the head of managers and head of staff, mainly Habbo Help. And then I got into fan sites for 7 years, where I ended up being the general manager of Habbo Hut. But I was many things at Habbo Hut. I changed my roles around quite a bit. So, and I also left and came back as due to life demands and things like that. Yeah, we have I've got a bit of that in me. And then in 2014, they initiated the Habbo Ambassador program, in which case I became the Master Ambassador for the Australian New Zealand region. And I led a team of 5 ambassadors and for that region, and that was pretty rewarding too. One thing led to another, and I just decided to I decided to leave Habbo a few years ago. So I got involved in game development. Always remember my Habbo roots though, so it's good to sort of see Habbo Origins come back, especially a 2005 version of Habbo. And yeah, here I am, sharing and streaming and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got a lot in me. I've got a lot in me, and no doubt I think a lot of these guys, like you guys are if you were you've got a lot of news as well. I noticed that a lot of people here have you know, I have a long history of Habbo of some description, right? And got involved in many different things. There's a lot of people of old that come back on Habbo, and because of that, you know, we've all got our experiences and what we can offer to the Habbo community. So yeah, just that I don't think, unfortunately, people understand what a Hobba was, what that actually meant specifically. They have a general understanding that they may have been some kind of player moderator, and that was it. And unfortunately, that perspective, because the Hobba program was operated differently on different hotels, it was a different thing for it was a different experience for most people as well. Like, obviously because of your own perceptions, but just in terms of how the Hobba program was running, it was different, and we had different Hobbas of different hotels. So you know, yeah, it's like the police force. People have like this mixed feeling about the police force, about, you know, oh, you know, police abuse their powers, or, you know, police, we need police because people are crazy, which we do, by the way. We do need police because people are crazy. But we need the thing that the key about that, right, is we need the right people to be police officers. We don't want just anyone becoming a cop. It's the same with moderators. It's the same with Hobbas, right? Same with anyone in an official capacity. Okay. Like, we don't want anyone just becoming staff, okay? Like, we don't want anyone just becoming like staff or Habbo staff. You've got to have the right type of person to become a Habbo staff member. You know, every Habbo staff member is police vetted, and I think they should also police vet their Hobbas. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily, depending on how far they want to take it. But I mean, it's just, you know, they should do it because they've got they're a huge part of community, and we need that. NL made that mistake with staff. What mistake was that? Sorry, Avatar. Was that with not police vetting their staff? Is that what you're saying? I don't know anything about the NL hotel. Oh, if they didn't police vet their staff. Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, you know, I think it might depend on the role in the company. I think in moderation they should be definitely police vetted, especially when they're looking after a community, you know, full of children, right? You've got to have certain checks happening here. Like, you got to and you know, the thing is, like, I just want to say, like, people are concerned about, you know, obviously you know, people are concerned about abuse with Hobbas, and that's a valid concern. Okay, I just want to point this out. It's a valid concern. I don't like the opinion, but I don't like the opinion because Habbo back then anyway did a lot to mitigate abuse. They monitored their Hobbas, they trained them. Well, from the start, they had a recruitment application, they had a criteria, they had a recruitment process. You had to go through this rigorous process. You had training, you had you know, monitoring. People, the Hobbas were monitored, man. And it's like any official capacity. Even today, ambassadors are monitored. The community need, you know, people like Hobbas and ambassadors and anyone in an official capacity to account, right? So there's that. It's not a concern. Okay, it really isn't. It really is not a concern. We need to make sure though that it's run properly. And we have to hold staff to account for that too. We have to say, hey, you know, if something's not right here, if they introduce it, we've got to point this out to them. We've got to say, hey, we need something else here because you know, people are just becoming a Hobba for free or something like that. It's just that they shouldn't become a Hobba for free. It's definitely not something that you get for free. You've got to earn the position. You know, it's like it's like anything, and plus anything that a Hobba does or did was monitored. It's the same with ambassadors, right? Ambassadors, everything ambassadors do is logged, right, for staff. Like if they're misusing their tools, or if they're behaving badly themselves, you know, they can't get away with it. And so I have absolute 100% faith in that, because even when I was an ambassador, right, when I was a Master Ambassador for Habbo, I was held for account for everything that I did, and all the things that I didn't do Okay, so like, people would come up and go, "You did A, B, and C," and I'm like, "No, I didn't. I did not do this." And like I'd be talking to someone backwards and forwards. I'd be like sort of entering their questions and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden they'd be sort of like, "Why are you abusing your power?" And it's like, "I'm not. I haven't even used my power. What are you talking about?" And they're sort of like, "You did this and that. You sent an alert. You muted my friend or something like that." And I said, "I haven't muted anybody at the time." Even though I had muted people, at that particular moment I didn't mute anybody. And they were like, "Alright, I'm making a complaint." I'm like, "Yeah, fine, make a complaint. Here's how you do that. You write into Habbo with this category. It's about Habbo Ambassadors. You can mention my name. You're welcome to do that. I have no problems with that. Staff will review the situation. If they have a problem with anything if staff had a problem with anything I did, they would have let me know about it. But I was very careful to make sure that I only used my powers to enforce the Habbo way, and behaved in accordance with enforcing that environment. What was your Habbo name? What was your name on Habbo as Master Ambassador? My Habbo name was Agisalaius. I'll bring this up. So I actually thought I was logged in, but my computer restarted and it was not logged in anymore. So just a moment. So I'll just bring this up so you can see it. Okay. So this is me. Okay. This is me. I'm Agisalaius. And I also had this article here. So I just want to point out that yes, I was selected as Master Ambassador. This is an official Habbo news article. You can see I'm logged in here, and I've got Agisalaius is actually listed as Master Ambassador. This is dated November 3, 2014. So this is me. And I was Master Ambassador for about 6 to 7 years. So yeah, I can talk about this sort of stuff. But I am a former, so I'm no longer. I did leave Habbo a few years ago, but I still have the I still have it in me, man. I still have it in me. Just that we move on sometimes. That's all. I need to bring everything back to this and open up this. Okay. Same time as Pixel Sean. Yeah, actually, we were hired as Master Ambassadors at the same time. Sean actually dipped out of the program for some time, and then he came back, but he didn't come back as a master. He came back as he didn't become, he was just an ambassador, but he was still part of the team. There wasn't a huge difference between Master Ambassador and just normal ambassador. We were just Master Ambassadors were just team leaders of ambassador teams. So we would hold meetings and we'd be basically the first point of contact for staff to ambassadors. There was a bit of crossover between staff communicating with the team themselves as a whole and talking to us. So yeah, there was it was when staff were more active in the community, it was a very rewarding experience, especially when we had online moderators and we had them on our list. Habbo's moderation really was at top-notch quality when that was happening, because we would always seek moderator assistance in the hotel. So that was a really nice touch back then. But then they made structural changes with their moderation team, and they took all the moderators out of the hotel again, which is a really bad move, I think. Sorry, guys. Just keep your moderators in Habbo. It's a live game. Keep your moderators in Habbo. This is why we need Hobbas, man. User engagement. And live help. Like, people need a source of help in the hotel, you know. And Hobbas will definitely do that for us. We just have to make sure that things are done correctly here. And I think bringing back Hobbas is a good move. But just so you know, we need the right people to be Hobbas. It's like anything. We need the right people. We need the right people to be moderators. We need the right people to be staff. We need the right people to be police officers, right? We need the right people to be government officials. We don't want criminals or bad behaving people to be in those positions. We don't want that. Donald J. Trump. We'll make Habbo trade again. Yeah, it was only a matter of time until someone created that name. It really was. I don't want to bring politics into Habbo, by the way, just so you know. I don't really want to do that. Habbo is a game, and we don't want to bring politics into it, even though obviously people do talk about it, and that's fine to do that. I'm not going to be against it. But I don't want to personally bring politics to Habbo. It is a huge meme, I've got to say. I love the memes with you know, political stuff. Political stuff. Sorry, my mouth's a bit dry. Hotel View. Yeah, Hotel View was a good one. Hotel View, they have Hotel View now, man. This is Hotel View. Just pointing this out. This is Hotel View. Right? It's not very good, unfortunately, because they're trying to advertise everything on here, but this is Hotel View. They've got a hotel over here. We don't get to see the whole hotel anymore, so kind of sucks, but it's still Hotel View. I think they call it like Habbo's landing page now, which is lame. We should just call it Hotel View. Like, come on. Yeah, so I'm here to answer your questions about Hobbas. I actually lived through Hobbas during from 2004 to 2006 when they were around, so I've got some practical experience with them. I was never a Hobber. I was never old enough to become one, which was disappointing. I'm unfortunately in the group that wanted to become Hobbas but never could because of the age, and then they got rid of it, so that was a gutting experience. So yeah. We do need Hobbas. We need to make sure that they're implemented correctly, okay? That's the thing. Yes, we do need Hobbas. But, yeah, Hobbas are actually a thing for the entire hotel. They're not going to be an ambassador thing. I can be certain of that. But there are rules that Hobbas had to follow. They couldn't just do whatever they wanted. King Cantrip only. Yeah. I'm mentioning you. So, oh my god. That ASL, bro. 78M wife. Melania Trump. Oh my god. Okay, we're not gonna. Oh dear. I've got to say, I'm just gonna revert to Twitter for a moment. This is absolutely hilarious. We've recently had some clarification around the large client. Let me just find it. I need to. Where is it? They did post it actually on the Twitter. It was really cool. Here it is. Honestly, I don't know what the problem is with the large client. It works fine. This is it here. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to open that. That's it there. What's wrong with it, man? There's nothing wrong with the large client. If you have a big enough resolution, you should be fine. It's still wrong, by the way. It doesn't matter how long your resolution is. It's still wrong. The resolution of the actual client's slightly off. I hope they do. I mean, they explained it, but I don't know if they're probably had some trouble trying to get it right. But yeah, I guess they'll just see what they're gonna do with it. So yeah. Oh, we've got wow. Everyone's looking the same, not the same, but everyone's got their own appearance. By the way, it is not unusual for someone to look similar to you, especially with this particular time. But uniquely, the hotel had enough variety to keep everyone at a certain level of uniqueness, which was really cool. So yeah, Just a shout out to everyone in the room as well. We've got Avatar, welcome. I don't know how to say your name. Machilianus? Clemens, Goob, Live. We've got Wesk in the room. Or Wesky or Wedky. I think you're actually in the room in the chat as well there with me. Green VL, Poppy, me, Shadow Wolf, and King Ken, here, Thief, and Hip. I was going to say hip hop, but it's actually just hip. And we've got Sofa, who's just come back in the room. Welcome back. So some good stuff there, guys. So yeah, if I don't answer your question in the room, by the way, just pop into the Twitch chat. I will respond. I do miss a lot of the chat here, but we've got it stops for a second then restarts. Yeah, I noticed that, but it seems to work. It seems to be all right. It's acceptable. It's an acceptable limitation. Yeah. Habbo is elite. Absolutely, that's iconic. It was the first dance. And it went through tweaks and changes and mutated over time, that dance, actually. It used to be so static, and then they put more movement into it, and just, yeah, it looked really good. Bobber, yeah, we don't want any of that. We don't want any of that. You're idle? No, it's alright. But yeah, we're going to the website here. Oops, oh my god, I keep opening the wrong one. Anyone been banned yet on Habbo Origins? I actually don't know. I'm assuming that they would have. I think actually, no, I do know. I beg your pardon. They did some scripting last week. Some people did some scripting last week. We had Dr. Snoop, I think his name was, and he turned himself into a dog. Kind of weird. Yeah, they've had some inappropriate names as well, but basically, that wasn't the. I mean, apart from that, okay. Yeah, someone scripted the hotel last week, and they gave everyone moderator tool. It was a client-side moderator tool, and it was it was a call for help. Actually, it was a moderator call for help. And then they it was kind of funny. And then he turned himself into a dog and stuff, and then everyone got like a fake amount of credits, and I don't know if they. Originally, I thought it might have been legit. So I told people not to spend it, just in case, because you don't know, right? You don't want to be spending credits that that doesn't belong to you. Have a go at people for that. So, but that was all client side, so it didn't do any actual damage. But it was just emphasizing that Habbo security needed to improve, and they did. The first thing that staff did was ban the person in, that was scripting, and patched it, the hotel. So. Yeah, we've got our first legitimate 1100,000 hour ban. 100,000 hour ban. 100,000 hours. That's how long that person's probably banned for. So yeah, not a good thing. Hopefully, you know, at some stage they'll forgive him and they'll let him play again, because I think it's a bit harsh. Most scripters are behaving and reporting security leads. Exactly, Avatar. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. That's the. You always have some of these episodes. I personally don't think Dr. Snoop was being malicious with his activities. He just did it. He went about it the wrong way. He exposed it to the community. You can't do that. You can't exploit it and expose it to the community. You've got to work with staff, man. If he just said, "Hey, Mac, I want to show you something. It's doing this, that, and the other," that's different. And if it's in a private setting, right, they're not going to ban him for that. But like he just went full out on and just scripted, and that was against Habbo's terms and conditions, and yeah, he got banned for that. But I hope they do forgive him for that, because honestly, that's, yeah, he was only trying to help, just in the wrong way. Yeah, he would receive a Habbo trophy and would be thankful. I mean, hopefully. I don't know what's actually happened since. I haven't really been keeping up to date with it or anything. Plus, staff aren't going to talk to you about that. but they did mention. I think someone did. They did mention the Habbo Origins. He's like, I got banned. Why? And like staff came back and said, well, you scripted the hotel, man. Like, you can't just do that. You can't just exploit a game. It doesn't work like that. Have a bit of the staff are not going to like that. So, yeah. There's always ways around bans, by the way. So, it wasn't like he's probably out and that's it. Also, guys, if you're watching and you want an avatar that's on the stream there, you got a little Yoshi there. Feel free to follow. I do have, if you follow, you do actually get a Yoshi. And your little character will be on the stream. And yeah, I kind of plan on making these streams, probably post them on YouTube or something. So, I'm still reviewing that at this stage, but they'll probably go to YouTube at some stage, so they'll be on the internet forever. So we've got this Congo line happening in the info bus at the moment. We're in the if you just tuned in, by the way, we're in Habbo Hotel Origins, which is a 2005 version of Habbo. Which is, if you go to habbo.com, it will give you the option of going to Origins, New Habbo, or Habbo X, which is the Habbo X is the NFT version of Habbo. But we're in Habbo Origins at the moment, and it's fantastic. We're in the info bus park in the info bus itself. So if you haven't got an account, you want to log in, feel free to come to the website, origins.habbo.com, register an account by clicking the check-in button. You'll also see it on the homepage. Actually, it's just the check-in button here. And just log in through the client and create an account through the client. Activate your account, come to the outside spaces, Infobus Park, go into the queue to enter the bus. You do have to enter the bus on the last arrow, by the way. It's a bit of a strict queue system. And because typically we don't have a large queue to get inside, you can simply just, you know, keep clicking the next arrow to get in, to save your sanity, by the way, because it is a bit of a exercise just to let it go on its own. So yeah, we're in here. We've got this Congo line happening. I mean, this is the amazing thing about the community, right? With Habbo, they just do things. This is one of them. So they all just agreed to go into this Congo line. It's really kind of cool. I mean, I suppose I should go to the front of the Congo line, considering. I need to turn around here. Hang on a minute. There's a way to do this. If you... Yep. Click quickly. Yep. Oh, I did it. Damn it. Oh, hang on. Oh my god, I'm such a noob. I'm noob clicking right now. There we go. So, how awesome is this? We've got this Congo line going on. So, I'm going to type in the chat. So, live streaming Habbo on Twitch. Yes. So yeah, we've got this awesome stuff. I might just send a message out to everybody saying I don't know who's online here. The friends list is a little buggy, but there we go. So, yeah, awesome. Welcome to the. If you've just tuned in, guys, my name is Shadow Wolf in Habbo Origins. I'm just Elias on actual Habbo. I'm a former Master Ambassador for the Australian New Zealand region. Yeah, we're hanging out in Habbo here in Habbo Origins, and we are answering questions about Hobbas and talking about the future of Habbo and everything else. So, uniquely we have this Congo line happening in the infobus. We might actually end up you know, running out of room at this stage. I don't think we have any room for the line here. We're gonna have to start, you know, shaping the line around the edges of the bus, I think. Maybe we should move one space this way. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Just to allow other people to join the Congo line around the edges. That'd be awesome. Good stuff, guys. I don't know who came up with the idea. Someone came up with the idea and I wasn't paying attention, so we're doing Congo. Yeah, so fantastic stuff. So, yeah, I encourage people to vote yes for Hobbas, by the way, and there's a reason for this. We do need to bring back the nostalgia of Hobbas. That's one reason. The second reason is we do need a good, friendly group of moderators that are going to look after us when we need help. That's second, and the third thing is we need a source of help for Habbo. We don't have in-game and live help anymore, and we haven't for years, and it's really annoying. Like to get help, like it's absolute constipation to get help from anyone. So I think it's a good idea to have Hobbas to look after us, and we can be sure that Habbo will select some good people to become Hobbas. I just want them to also do this correctly. Hobbas, you know, some people are concerned about having Hobbas. I mean, you know, we do need Hobbas. Every community out there that wants good community growth and user engagement needs some sort of moderation. Or, you know, a support system that players can engage in themselves as a role and engage with each other. You know, that's user engagement. We do need that for growth. We do need that for growth. Yeah, we've got some language going on here, so everyone's kind of a bit confused with the Congo line at the moment. We've got people that are sort of, I suppose they're just doing whatever they want, which is obviously fine, but yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Say is pretty shitty at the moment. We've got the space is like 2 or 3 spaces. It's really small. In some cases it seems to be a bit weird on the diagonal, so it sort of doesn't capture it. It captures you even less in some cases. I'm not sure if it's room dependent at this point, or it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit weird. So everyone's sort of shouting. Yes, Thief, you can swear. I mean, Thief's discovered that he can swear on here. It's a good idea not to be rude to other people. But I mean, I've got to say the trolls on Habbo Origins seem to be quite minimal at the moment. The Mackle bus is back. Well, Mackleby's not here, so we can't say that. But we're doing the info bus at the moment. Mackle bus would be like absolutely full. Did you guys actually see that? By the way, I'll just bring this up. I actually have a screenshot. I took a screenshot of someone on Discord. I'm just gonna have a look here. I'm trying to find who I sent it to. Oh, here we go. Yeah, anywhere where Mackleby goes. This is the Mackle bus, guys. How awesome's this? There's me in the info bus. Yeah, there's just so many people, man. Yeah, I was there too. I can point my. Who can point me out in here? Where am I? I'll give you a clue though, because I'm not wearing the same. I'm not wearing exactly the same top. Hello, Akash. Shout out to Akash in the chat there, Tribal Chief. Akash is one of the members of Lucal's staff. He assists with videos for YouTube. So welcome, Akash. Back in the bus on the seat? Yeah. No. No, I'm not actually there. I actually thought I was in a different position than I was. I'm not actually sitting down, by the way. There's another clue. I'm not sitting down. Where am I? Who can tell where I am? Oh, hello. I've received something. I've received a gift. Okay, I don't know who that's from. Someone sent me a gift. Who can spot me in this image? If you can point out where I am. I mean, obviously, I'm not clicking on myself. I'm clicking on Maccabee right now because that's, you know, his stuff, and it's cool to look at stuff. I'm just looking at the room as well to see if anyone's. We got the. Good thing is we do like. If you don't like green, Shadow Wolf, I'll be sad. I do like green. Green used to be my favorite color actually, Gregory, when I was like 5. It's no longer my favorite color, but I still like it. Certain types of green I like. So yeah, don't worry, you're in good hands there. But I'm not wearing green. I'll give you another clue. I'm not wearing a color. So can you guess where I am? Yes, I'm glad to have your approval as well there, Green. I'm glad to have your approval as well. We've got Green sitting there, King Ken. We've got some green. We've got some green hair on the end. He's just his head, but still green. Yeah. The King Ken and end. Sorry, I am trying to like make sure this is like on top, but can you spot where I am in here? I can't put this anywhere without covering someone that would potentially be in the stream at the moment. I could zoom out. Let's do that. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. We're not missing anyone now. Someone sent me another gift. Okay. Someone's sending me gifts. Thank you for the gifts, by the way. I don't know what they're saying yet because I'll have to go into the room and check. But yeah, thank you for that. In front of the fridge, I'm Avatar. Close but no cigar. This is when Maccabee increased the limit of the bus, by the way, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, I can't really put it on this side. Yeah, he increased the limit on the bus. Do we have a? Yeah, I just wanted to zoom right out here. Sorry. Oh my god, did it again. I did it again. Yeah, that's not gonna fit over there. I just want to have it over there. Yeah, cool. Yeah. How you doing today? All right. If you guys won't guess, I'll tell you. I'm in the door. I literally couldn't fit anywhere else. I'm in the door. At one stage, I was able to actually click over here, which I think I was going to do before I took this screenshot. So I was actually over here for a while. And then I think I took more than one. So I'm just checking that. Oh, hang on a minute. Was it Pixel Spawn? I don't think I have another screenshot of it. Yeah, at the moment. Yeah, not this. I did send it, but it was a different thing. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's all I got. So, welcome to the stream, by the way, the Spectre DC. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, we're thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. I just wanted to see. Okay, yeah, we've got about 18 minutes before we do another ad roll. So, all right. Just so you know, guys, I don't have control over the ads. I do apologize. That's a Twitch thing. I really have no control over it. But I do have control over when roughly how often they actually appear. So I do run ads once every hour, and usually in that hour I have a break and walk around and things like that. I usually do it with game development. Otherwise, it's like pre-rolls where you sort of like, you know, you get a whole bunch of ads randomly, and particularly when you come into the stream, which is really annoying. So I want to turn pre-rolls off. So I only run ads once every hour. So, and we wait for the community as well when ads are running, so we don't have a situation where people miss out. So I do go BRB when that happens. But yeah, we're not doing that for another 17 minutes or so. But for anyone that's new, that's coming to the stream, my name is Shadow Wolf. I'm previously known as Agent Spy on Habbo, and currently just Elias on Habbo. This is me. I'm a former Master Ambassador for the Australian New Zealand region on Habbo. I served in that role for 7 years, and it was an absolute pleasure. There were some things that happened, but generally, for the outmost community, it was an absolute pleasure being in that role. Yeah, that's me, and this is the article that, well, I did have the article up, it's disappeared on me now. Where did I have it? Did I have this on a separate tab? Probably did. Yeah, here it is. I'll put it on here so I can actually access it better. So, this is, November 2014, and I'm one of the Master Ambassadors on that article, so... There's a few other names you'll probably recognise as well. We had Pixel Sean, Wiz Harrod, Nitty, Dragon NCCB, Bamboo, Habtaz, Tubes, ROPX, BX, Phil, RSG, Chiva, Fable, Love, and Funky Habbo. A lot of these guys are not actually serving anymore. They are ex. I think Habtaz and Nitty are the only two that are still around out of that. Fable, I think, still one. I'm not sure. Pixel Sean, yeah, Pixel Sean. He's not one anymore. He's former as well. So a lot of us are former. And especially for the Australian New Zealand region, they dissolved the whole team, so they just got rid of them, and I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. Apparently they disagree with stuff. I don't know what happened. I was long gone when that happened. Pixel Sean plays? Yeah, he certainly does. He's still around. Pixel Sean and I go way back to Habbo Help days, 2005, where I was the manager. I was one of the desk managers at the time, and he joined the desk, and yeah, so yeah, I was head of staff when he became a supervisor, so it was really good. I was actually, sorry, he was a supervisor when I was still a manager. Yeah, I then become head of staff. So yeah, we go all, yeah, we're way back. So, yeah, when Habbo selected ambassadors, they selected the they did actually rigorously go through who was a guardian, and at the time, because we don't have guardians anymore, but yeah, who was a guardian was being a guardian was like a prerequisite to being an ambassador as part of the criteria, they really checked you out. Like, staff were like, you know, they were checking your chat logs, they were checking your history, they were checking what you were doing on Habbo, they were checking how often you come on, they checked a whole bunch of stuff, and they picked the most active, the most contributing Habbos that had the best records, and that's what these people were. So a lot of these people, and still got people in there now. We've got Stat Dude and I think Fable's still one. Yeah, we've got Zarek now. I think he was online a moment ago, actually. I did have him on there. But yeah, I do so yeah, I do have a long history of Habbo. And I do remember Hobbas, so if you have questions about that, feel free to ask. I'm currently a game developer. I do have 3 projects that I'm working on. I'm currently working on a game called Genticity, which is inspired by Habbo, by the way. Habbo and Simcopter, to be exact. So it's a bit of a mix between that and also a bit of my own. So, yeah. Love and Bean... Good heavens. Love and Bean as well. 2 lovely people, nice. Cool. I don't have the current list in front of me. I might find it. I think Zarek's got his profile open at the moment. I'll have a look. Yeah. 1 sec. I'll find it. Oh my god, everyone! 182 groups. When did they increase the limit? You used to only be able to have 50. Oh my god. Hang on a minute. I just so happened to pick the one ambassador that's got 1 million Habbo groups. Yeah, here we go. We've got some staff here, of course, but Habtaz, Love, Zarek, Alex. Actually, I think that was a former staff member, actually. Oh no, Alex staff might have been. I don't remember. You're not allowed to have staff in your name, by the way, so I thought that might have been a staff member. Nitty, Stedude, and Bean. Oh, yep, Bean. Nice. But yeah, see, the latest in person that became an ambassador was like 2022. That was like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago for February 18 there. At least as far as the script's concerned, that they're still in the group, I should say. Some people may come and left, but yeah. Pretty cool. But yeah, we're in here chilling in the info bus. It's been amazing. Let me know if you have questions. We've got we've been talking about Hobbas and the process around hiring Hobbas. We want to make sure that they're, you know, we mitigate abuse and we have a good selection. You know, I'm very confident that there will be an acceptable usage of Hobbas if they come back. So yeah, we do want to vote yes to Hobbas. They're a huge nostalgia for the hotel as well. I don't think we can have a can't have a Habbo Origins without Hobbas. Hobbas were actually a program between 2001 and 2005 inclusive. So for 5 years they were a huge part of this community. They helped the community grow because of their user engagement method. They helped the community, so anyone that had a problem had their problems resolved by Hobbas. They had some really good training, to become a Hobber. And I have resources here, by the way, which I'll put in chat for anyone new that's coming into the chat. These are some web archive websites that talked all about Hobbas and what they... And you could just tell by browsing these pages that they took Hobbas very seriously. It wasn't something that people just got, you know. You don't just hire anyone to become a Hobber. Like, you can't just hire anyone to become a police officer or a government official or anything like that. Like, it's, you know, you got to be careful about who becomes a Hobber. All these things. So, and you know, if they do come back, you can be sure that they'll be held to a very high account in the community. So. Green. How are you, oh, I was going to say, how is this guy talking green? He's wearing a black shirt. That's the other thing with Habbo. You can, whatever shirt you're wearing is whatever color your, oh, I left. Whoops. I got kicked. I'll go back to the info bus here. So we're just hanging around in the info bus. And, if you ever struggle with this queue, guys, by the way, I'll just move this to the middle of the screen here. If you ever struggle with this queue, hopefully Jesse's watching this, but we're just going to do this. We're just going to keep clicking the next arrow all the time, okay? The more you do this, the more you actually... The quicker you do it. So how Habbo movement works is that your Habbo is technically... The moment it starts moving into that space is where your Habbo actually is. So it jumps to that space, right? It's just that you've got an animation of your Habbo walking there. So you want to keep clicking the next arrow all the time in there. There you go. You're in the bus. You're not waiting 5 million years to get in. I fucking started the pogo train. Yeah, okay. Good on you. This guy loves swearing, I swear to God. He left. Oh my God. Probably got sick of it. Pogo all night. Pogo spectated. Yep. Pokemon Go addicts. Oh wow. Pokemon this life. Oh, we're talking about Pokemon now. Pogo Mogo in the infobus. Mogo at the club. Habbo game. Dancing in the Pogo line. Absolutely. Everyone's doing Pogo Mogo except for Sofa. He's the only one that's not doing it. That's funny. But hey, you're not, it's totally optional which dance you do, man. No one's holding that against you. We gotta get Wowen or McElvey to fix the darn fridge. You're not wrong, dude. You're not absolutely wrong. He did mention that he was gonna try and fix the fridge. I think he tried to fix it the other day. He was mentioning he was gonna try and fix it. They've got a lot of work to do, and they're still working through it. So we will see updates. They are gonna give us fixes. We just have to be a bit patient. I want them to really fix the poll readability though. Like we're almost 2 weeks into this poll, which is it's still not able to read the questions, man. Like they can't continue with that. They really can't. So hopefully we'll get that fixed soon. You get the general idea of what they're asking, but it's just, you know, for some questions, it's like, man, what are you actually talking about? It could mean so many different things, and you can have a guess at what it means, but it's just like, what are you talking about? No, we don't talk about terrorism here. I mean that seriously, by the way. Be very careful what you're saying on the internet. Be very careful what you're saying. Not only will the platform probably ban you permanently, but you're probably going to have police at your door if you're promoting certain things. So just be very careful. They do know where you live, by the way. You're not anonymous with that. You might be anonymous as far as the general people are concerned, but as far as police and government, mate, they know where you are. So just make sure you're not doing something illegal on the internet, will you? We don't tolerate that here. But most people on here are actually really good. I'm surprised at how well behaved most people are on Origins, despite the lack of moderation. It's really awesome. So it's really good. There are still some people that are causing trouble, but we are pretty good. So shout out to Cosmic, Vass. We're talking about Goob's back as well. Welcome back, Hater. We've got Arby that just walked into the room. Avatar's still here. We've got Sofa in the Pongo line. Harmus, Mark Paul, me, Aspect. Welcome, Aspect. Green, Gregory, 2004. Poppy, welcome. He didn't know it was being recorded. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh dear. You can be sure that nothing is private in a public room. You can be sure of that. What's your favorite type of shapes? I have no favorite type of shapes at all, dude. That is not something that's ever crossed my mind. I know what shapes are, but I will. Okay, there was something that I don't have necessarily a favorite. Okay, but I was exposed to a game called Hexagon. So I guess Hexagon probably comes a bit ahead of different shapes, but a triangle type of person. Prefer the cube. Although I'm going to watch a movie. Bye everyone. Bye dude. See ya, Avatar. That was Avatar that left. I meant the snack. The snack. The snack. Oh, the shapes. Right. Why is? Oh my god, that's a very specific question. I have to think about it. Cheese and bacon. Cheese and bacon are definitely the best for that one. I think there are a few others, but I haven't really tasted them. I don't eat the biscuit. Okay, I don't. It's not something I do. And the reason for that is because I typically want to. My partner bought Doritos and I felt disappointed in him. Oh, okay. I actually don't mind Doritos. Doritos are alright. So, but yeah, I don't really eat chips. I do sometimes. I am sort of. I do misbehave in that aspect a little bit, but like I typically am pretty I'm pretty conscious about what I eat. I actually do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat. I sort of have an early dinner and don't eat until lunchtime the next day in most cases. Sometimes I will have breakfast, but I don't have breakfast. I don't have breakfast generally any earlier than 9. It's only rare I do that. And it's only if I have to get up early and I'm really tired, because I don't like getting up too early. Usually for work, and I need something to keep me going. I'll have some fruit probably, but yeah. in that particular case, but yeah, I usually fast up until lunchtime most days. So all right. There's no FF poll yet, but falling furniture poll. Is that what you mean? That'll be the future to have the items returned. FF. Funky Friday. I thought they were wanting to introduce that anyway. They might do another. I don't know what they're gonna do next in terms of a poll. That's up to Sulaki, but and stuff about that one. But I just yeah. We'll find out. You've got a lot of rares being pumped out. Mainly just we've got 2. We've got the Habbo Cola machine and Pedal Patch at the moment. The Habbo Cola machine was the first week's rare. They changed that to Pedal Patch the other day. So every Tuesday they're changing the rare at the moment. So yeah. Your bank account says no. Yeah, no way. There used to be 25 credits. Weekly rares used to be 25 credits. I was kind of disappointed that they made it 50 credits, and we're now it's gone down a bit at 35 credits. But it's like, mate, just make it 25 credits. Which rare is you most excited about to drop in on Origins? It's got to be the Throne. The Throne, hands down. We are doing a break, so be right back. Don't like ads either, but I have to. We have to wait for the community, so I might get myself a drink. I'll be back. Alright, we're back. Fantastic. Welcome, guys. It's good to have a mouthful of water after having such a dry mouth. I've been talking so much over the last like 24 hours, basically. So it looks like we're breaking up the Congo line here up a bit. Gotta return to the seat. So, hi guys, if you're just tuning in, my name is Shadow Wolf. I'm on Habbo Origins, Luke Wolf in the game development world. On Habbo, I am previously known as Agent Spy, and currently just Elias, which is my name here in my profile. I'm a former Master Ambassador for the Australian and New Zealand region, so I'm here to answer your questions about what we're doing in Habbo at the moment, and what's going on at the moment with, well, we've got a poll in the info bus on Habbo Origins regarding Hobbas. And I do have a fairly extensive knowledge about how Hobbas operated in the past, back when they had Hobbas between 01 to 2005. Although I was never a Hobber, by the way, but I obtained a lot of knowledge and research and into that, so from existing Hobbas. So yeah, it looks like the Congo line did die out a little bit there. People got a bit, people want to move on from that, so that's fine. And just in case you are still tuning in, if you'd like to, and you missed it in the chat, well, there's 3 links I'm going to post in the chat of my stream here, which are going to have links to old Habbo websites that have the information about how Hobbas operated back then, and yeah. Streaming. So we've got, yeah, that happening. There's 3 links, to information about Hobbas. Right. Yeah, so those 3 links, there's the, I've just a link to the application form which outlines the criteria. We've got the general page about Hobbas and what they did, what they were about, how to contact them, and the general and the frequently asked questions. Cool. So no worries. We've got Wizard that just entered the room and just left again. I think he got a bit. I think he got his toe out of place with what I said there. Ardal just walks in with a camera. Good on you. And we had and Straggly. We've still got Poppy, Marcy, Sofa, Proxy, Gregory 2004, and Vars. Got a couple of camera people in the room as well. Maven just walked in. Welcome. So oh, well, that's a good question. How can it be truly 18 plus with mods everywhere? We're not going to have mods everywhere. And it doesn't, and just because it's made 18 plus doesn't necessarily mean we don't need moderators. We actually do need moderators. In fact, we need moderators more than ever before because adults are actually worse behaved than children, believe it or not. But we do have a lot of good people on this hotel, and there is a good culture at the moment. We don't want any of that to fester, so we still need a good source of help for the community, and Hobbas will definitely achieve that for us. We do have there's a process, right? So we do need to moderate it correctly. So in terms of moderating it correctly, in terms of like, you know, how to become a Hobber, all those sorts of things need to be done correctly. But in general, yes, we do need Hobbers. We do need a source of help for the community. We need we do need user engagement so that the community can grow. And We do need to a way to protect innocent people that are using the service. That's just what they do. We do need, yeah, exactly what Gregory's saying. We want to make sure they're not over moderating. It's an absolute must with that. Hey Mezzy, welcome to the stream, and yes, of course you can ask a question. Go ahead. Welcome to do so. Yeah, they'll I mean, it depends on the hotel actually, and with that, it won't repeat itself. It really, any program comes down to it. I mean, you're talking about a community that doesn't have moderators. An online community. All communities, generally all communities online, depending on the platform, obviously, is some sort of moderation. And there are people behind that, and moderators help communities grow in general. It's not exclusive to Habbo. We have, and it's very important. So user engagement, source of help and questions, and just making sure that we're keeping the peace in the hotel. That's what it's about. You can't get into Habbo Origins. Keep saying my password for my account is wrong. But I'm fine with logging in. Okay. You need to create a separate account for Habbo Origins. So if you haven't actually registered yet, just make sure that you click on this button here. I might just reload the hotel so I can show you. So click on check-in, and if you haven't registered, you just have to register a Habbo. What's happening here? Oh, whoops! I'm on the wrong site. Hang on, sorry. Check-in right here. So going to habboorigins.habbo.com, we'll launch that, and this will appear. You just press Habbo Hotel Origins, wait for that to say yes. Play Origins. You can use the large client if you want, although it is a bit buggy. It just doesn't fit the screen exactly. And then you'll get presented with this. You just need to click this button here, which is create one here. We'll just walk you through creating a Habbo. So you've got to do it from within the client. And you have to convert. You have to be 18 or over to use the service. Once you've done that, it will just log in automatically. But in future, you can just use this check-in box here with your email address and password. But it won't. Yeah, you do have to register a separate account. It's not the same as normal Habbo that way. Okay, I'm just gonna log back in here.